Dating after a toxic relationship. I just finished my group Q&A call for the group coaching program that I do for wondrous women, and this question came up, and actually came up within this group the other day too, so want to address it. It's going to sound very different than everything you've ever heard, I'm sure. So couple things. We think about integrity. We want someone with integrity, right? We want them to have the integrity not to cheat on us, the integrity to do the right thing, the integrity to show up when they say they're going to. And integrity is absolutely crucial as you go into dating. But your own integrity is absolutely just as crucial, if not more. Because you have to have the integrity to say no. You have to have the integrity to know yourself, to have done your work, to take responsibility for your own happiness, to take responsibility for your life, to take responsibility for saying no, and when something doesn't work for you, to walk away from it. And because let's think about toxic people, right? They set expectations all the time, like, I want you to do this, I expect you to do this, I think you should be doing this, and we scurry around to do their bidding. Does that even make sense? Like, when you think about, because if you're a good, kind, sweet, loving person, then my guess is you think, oh, if I give, someone will love me. If I give, someone will give me permission for it to be my turn. But then toxic people seem to be getting their way a lot. And toxic people set a standard and set an expectation, and then we rise to their expectation rather than living in our own expectations. And so I want you to think about what we can learn from toxic people in the dating world without turning into a toxic person, right? Because you can have expectations without being an asshole. You can set expectations without being manipulative. You can set while still being kind. You can set expectations while still taking responsibility for yourself. You can set expectations and still live within your own integrity. But if you don't set expectations, then they have all the power. And let me be so clear, it's working for them. They set expectations, and then they expect other people to do the work of the relationship. So what are your relationships going to be like if you not only do you set the expectation, you're also willing to do the work of being kind, of being good, of being, my husband, he's been still out of town. He's going to come home, and it was like, still, I felt like almost never asked me to do this, but almost like a secretary or something. Like, his mail came in, and I did the letter opener and set it out for him. He had a package, and I opened it and set it out for him. He's coming home to a clean house and cooked a meal and a happy wife, all these kinds of things. But more recently, I said, you haven't taken me on a trip this year. I'd really like to go. And we end up in France and London. And he takes me to Paris. Like, it cannot be one-sided, and let me just give and hope that you give back. Because that's what happens. That's what toxic people train us to do. And it doesn't work well. So we can learn from toxic people to set that expectation and truly expect that person to do it. But we don't have to be kind. You don't have to be manipulative. You don't have to be passive aggressive. You don't have to do the silent treatment. We don't want to do any of the yucky stuff that toxic people do. But we can learn from them through their expectations, because they're getting something right, because they seem to always be winning. So that is your path to winning within that process. And definitely, you have to work through that stuff. You have to recognize a toxic person when you first meet them and see them, so that you don't get drawn in. I had a coaching client who, on that call, who had finished my private program a long time ago, and I was like, so proud of her. There was a guy she went out with, and within a week, she recognized the toxic signs, and they weren't, blatant necessarily. She just recognized them immediately. She met a friend, and that friend's sister came up, and she immediately recognized what was going on. She goes, oh, that person's toxic, within moments. And what a powerful thing. I see it, but then also not feel like you have to save them. And then even better than that, and when you not only feel like you have to save them, you realize you're responsible for your own happiness, and they're responsible for their own happiness, and living with your integrity means you're going to take care of your own happiness, and they need to take care of their own happiness, and then you're going to be happy together. And then setting expectations and saying, this is what I'm okay with, this is not what I'm okay with, and these are my expectations of our relationship. And they don't have to be, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should, how dare you, if you're really high maintenance or unkind or selfish individuals, this is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about someone who's an overgiver, who tends to save people, who is good, kind, loving, giving, and too forgiving. And their expectations in the past, they keep lowering their expectations in hopes that it'll be enough, or that the other person in the relationship will give them what they're looking for without them having to demand it. Is probably what you think in your head. But just set that expectation and say, this is what I'm okay with, this is not what I'm okay with, this is my expectations for you, and this is my expectations for myself. And part of that, within that expectation, is taking care of being responsible for yourself and expecting the other person to be responsible for themselves, because happiness is always an inside job. Hope that helps. If you want more information about the group coaching or private coaching program, love to chat. I definitely want to talk to people before that process, not only to protect the integrity of the group, but just to make sure it's a good fit for you, and to see we're all at different stages and different places, and the program's made for things. And so just want to make sure you're a good fit, because it's a lovely thing when all the ladies, it's like, oh, they're like mind reading. Oh, she's like this, she's like me, and how'd that happen to her? Or with my private clients, they, go back and listen to the calls, and they're like, how did you know I was thinking that? That's so weird. Because, I want to make sure that it was designed with you in mind, with your problems in mind. So I hope you're having an awesome day. Check you later. Oh, DM me, private message me if you want some more info about jumping on a call and seeing if it's a good fit for you. Have a good day.